I'm Jim Blakeley. You know, golf is generally considered a very difficult game to learn, but really, it's not as difficult as we make it. I think a player labors under the false impression that practice makes perfect. Well, this is not true, for unless a player clearly understands what to practice and how to practice, they merely train themselves deeper and deeper into faults, which are instinctive and natural. There's no mystery to the golf swing. There are certain fundamentals that must be performed, both physically and mentally, and when we learn these fundamentals, we learn the game. Now, I think the fundamentals certainly aren't natural, but as we practice them over and over, they become habitually natural. I think the two most violated fundamentals in the game today are, one, on the physical side is our grip, or our hand position on the club. And two, on the mental side, is our self-talk. Those some 1,200 words a minute, we continually feed ourselves over and over in every golf situation. Oh, these words aren't spoken out loud necessarily, but they are spoken. And yes, at 1,200 words a minute. They can be positive or they can be negative. And the control is by you and you alone. Let me give you an example. Darn, I knew I was going to miss that putt. Or how about, I knew that ball was going out of bounds before I hit it. Or there's another one. I just dread that first tee. I never hit a good shot. You're absolutely right, because the body expresses what the mind harbors. Now let me repeat that. The body expresses what the mind harbors. And it can be positive or it can be negative. So come on out to the practice area and let's really take charge of this game. And let's unlock some of your real golf potential.
This golf instructional programming was under the direction of and derived from the experience and knowledge of Al Geiberger, successful tour professional, PGA champion, and holder of the PGA record for the lowest competitive round, an amazing 59, and Jim Blakeley, Southern California PGA Seniors Champion, Professional of the Year, and Al Geiberger's lifelong mentor. Your subconscious mind will believe that you are swinging the club. Your body will begin to feel that you are actually performing Al's swing yourself. Repeated viewing of this tape will result in a powerful and positive programming of your mind and body. As you watch Al Geiberger, imagine that your body is swinging the club. Feel his confidence, his movement, and his tempo. Enjoy consistency and a new ability you never thought possible. Welcome to this new and powerful learning experience.
Yeah, I think that we ought to talk about the building a good sound grip. I think in mentioning in your book, Golf Digest book, Tempo, you talked about the amateur really not wanting to hear about the grip. It was dull, not exciting. You wanted to get into the golf swing right away, and we both know the importance of the grip and how a good sound grip will make you a better player.
And he usually got worse when he changed his grip, and so he tried it right away and it didn't feel good and he played worse, and so heck, I'm going back to my old grip.
Yeah.
I know, you know, one of the things in a grip, if you hold a club, I give it in my clinics, I say if you hold a club backhanded, cross-handed, and do that for 12 years, that's going to feel comfortable. And then somebody says, no, you're supposed to do it the other way around and put the hands on this way. And you say, geez, that feels terrible.
That's right.
So we are creatures of habit, and we do it long enough, it feels good. So when you make a change, even though it's the right change, it feels terrible. And that's one of the big problems, I think, in changing the grip, is it feels so bad for a while, and it's hard for us to stick with it and stay with it and let it work. So I'll run through a few fundamentals here, and you can fit in a few things that I might overlook. And,
all right, fine.
The grip, like I say, is is a simple thing to work on, but it's hard to change. And getting back to one other point there, I have never seen a good player with a bad grip, or in other words, you cannot be a good player with a bad grip. And with that in mind, start working on your grip. Now, first of all, the grip, to start with, to make it simple, our arms are hanging down from the body, from the shoulders, like so. And as you come around here, you'll see the palm of the right hand and the back of the left hand are facing the target. This is your natural position, and when you make a swing, that's the position those hands will seek to come back to at impact of the ball. So let's start with that as our grip. So put the back of the left hand towards the hole, put the palm of the right hand towards the hole. Line that up with the bottom of the club, the leading line of the club here. So with those two together, that's the start of a pretty good grip. You can't be too far wrong with it. Now we make certain modifications from that. The good players will have the hand straight up and down. The strong players, you might say, were these V's, the thumb and index finger of both hands pointing straight up and down. Little weaker players, we let them move these hands a little bit to the right, but don't ever do it very much, because remember what I said, the palm of the right hand wants to seek to come back towards your target, square to your target, and the back of the left hand. So when you have that tremendous centrifugal force that the club is picking up as it's going through the ball, those hands will seek to be square. So if this hand is way over here, say the right hand is way over here, and that hand seeks to square up to get where it wants to be, then the blade's going to be really closed. And you'll hit a big hook, or, of course, if you once you hit the few big hooks, then you're going to end up trying to reverse to compensate for it, and you got another problem in there. So you have the palm of the right hand, back of the left hand, facing the target. Move the hands a little bit to the right for the weaker player, more straight up and down for the real good, strong player. Now, how do you hold on to the club? Well, it's held more in the palm of the left hand, like this. And a lot of people ask me that. It comes right through the base of the index finger of the left hand, right across the palm, just underneath the pad, up here like this, and then you hold on with these last three fingers of the left hand here. This is very important, right there. Now the difference in the right hand comes into it, and you hold it in the fingers more of the right hand, or the base of the fingers of the right hand, not across the palm. If you held it in the palm, you'd end up with that gigantic hook grip we were talking about. So put it at the base of the fingers of the right hand, and hold on with these middle two fingers of the right hand. Don't squeeze it to death, but those are, you might say, your pressure points of your hand. So hold on with your last three fingers of the left hand across the palm, and then the fingers of the right, and have your palm of your right and the back of your left facing the target. Have you got anything to add to that, Jim?
Well, really what this does, that Al's talking about, is it sets his hands in a position, or his palms in a position square to the club face. And if we can keep that club face square to our arc during our swing, we have a pretty good chance of coming out square and hitting a good shot.
You can swing with freedom then, I think, is what you can make your nice turn and swing down your target line, and your hands are going down the target line, the club's going the right direction, right, instead of having to manipulate or guide. You know, another thing, since I have the club up here in the air like this, are the thumbs. The thumbs, very, very important part. See how the thumbs here, I'll come around here, see how the thumbs go down the club? Well, your left thumb goes a little bit to the right of the shaft, and your right thumb goes a little bit to the left of the shaft. And I say just a little bit. And there's a reason for that. Once you swing and come around here at the top of your swing, see, the club is supported on those thumbs. That gives you your support at the top of the swing. So a good example would be if you take that big hook grip that we were talking about way over here. This is a big hook grip. You get up the top here, those thumbs aren't there anymore. They're way around behind, and then the wrist collapses over, and you end up with this floppy thing. Then it causes you to let go of the club up there, and then you try and re-grip. It's just a whole chain reaction. So you want the thumbs, you might say, underneath the club at the top of the swing, supporting the club up there. It gives you your firmness up there.
Yeah, and as you said, Al, that you've never seen a good player with a bad grip.
That's right. There are a few players on the tour that don't have real good grips, but they have exceptional talent in other areas to make up for it. But if you want to be a good player, just start out and go through the suffering of changing your grip, or if you're a beginner, get a good grip to start with, and you might not improve as much right away, but down the road you're going to play a lot better.
It also creates a good tempo, doesn't it really? A good golf grip. It creates the type of tempo that we're striving for in a golf swing, that we don't have to hurry, and make some correction during the swing.
That's right, because if the grip is tense, if you're squeezing really hard, you'll move quick because you've got tension to overcome there. If your hands are on there improperly, like I mentioned, the big hook grip or even a big slice grip, I see some people with the left hand turned way over here, then you can't have that freedom of a nice full swing and release down the target. You're busy trying to manipulate and get the club back somehow square on the ball.
So generally, what would you say would be the general things that the player should look for in a good hand position on the club?
Well, I think as we mentioned to start with, back of the left hand towards the target, palm of the right hand towards the target, line up the leading edge of the blade towards the target, all three of those together. You can turn the hands a little bit to the right for the average player. Hold on with the last three fingers of the left hand, have it across the palm of the left hand. So you say palm left hand, last three fingers of the left hand, and in the fingers of the right hand, held on a little firmer with those middle two fingers there. And then don't squeeze it to death because you don't want tension, but don't hold on too loose either.
Very good, Al. I think that covers that grip pretty well. I think another fundamental that's extremely important along with that grip is your setup, or your address position, as we call it, and which takes care of the ball placement and so forth.
Well, let's go on over and do that.
Okay, fine. You know, Al, we realize the importance of building a good solid dress position, or setup as we call it. Why don't you run through that for us?
Well, okay, Jim, I wanted to do a little posture to begin with because like a grip, you need a good grip, you need good posture, and those are two things before you even hit the shot you got to have right. And posture is you just don't want to be bent way over too far, you don't want to be too straight, any of those things. Here's what good posture is. Stand up straight, start all over, stand up as straight as you can, bend over a little bit at the hips, and then pop your legs like this. In other words, you want a little more bending at the hips than you do in the knees. You don't want a lot of knees or a lot of hips. You want about twice as much bending in the hips. Now I say hips because a lot of people don't bend at the hips. They keep the hips straight up and down and they bend over here. So running through that again, take your stance, bend over at the hips like this, stick your rear end out, arch your back, whatever you want to call it, then pop your legs a little bit. This gives you good balance. Then what it sets you up for is for your arms hanging straight down. This is what you're looking for. You don't want your arms out here to hit the shot. You don't want them in here where they're going to be in the way of your body. You want to be bent over just enough so the arms hang down, straight down, and that's where you hold the club. It's in a natural place. Again, once you have a natural grip facing a target, your arms are hanging in a natural place, so you can make that nice turn and return to that same spot.
That sounds good, Al. I like, one of the things that I like about, address that ball on, is the good straight position from here where his back is straight and he's standing tall, where his head is up and his shoulder can work underneath his chin. So
not a lot of people do this.
Yeah. So by his chin being up and standing tall, he has a nice free area to work underneath his chin.
Well, I'm going to come around here and show a little more of the setup going this direction here. First of all, when you stand up to the ball position, where do you play? Well, start with both feet together so you have something to relate to. Take your left foot and go forward and your right foot backward. Now, I usually play most of my shots just forward to center. But if you're going to do it right in the middle, you would go equal distance. But anyway, this gives you something to relate to. So I do it just forward to center, so I'm going to move my left foot less than my right foot. Now I have my good posture. Now, this is really critical, and this is when a good player will watch an average player right away and say they're set up wrong, they can't hit the ball. And here's something to look for. Watch all the good players, and you'll see in their setup, you might say their right side is lower than their left side, and that's because your right hand on the grip is lower than your left hand. So your right knee is lower than your left knee, your right hip is lower than your left hip, and your right shoulder is lower, and of course your right hand is lower. And the reason for this, so when you make your turn going back, your left side stays higher. It makes a nice turn and come back, where if it starts out lower, you end up going down, and then you end up rising up out of the way, and we don't want to do that, of course. So tuck your right knee in. You'll see all the good players do this. They tuck that right knee in, so it's lower than the left. Drop your right shoulder. How does that look, Jim?
That looks very good, Al. One of the things that this right knee does, in tucking in his right knee, it keeps him over his right leg when he makes his backswing, where he doesn't get a turning motion or a sliding motion.
A lot of people will do this, and as they go back, the right knee goes over there. We don't want to do that, do we? We want to keep this knee in here so that when you make your left side turns around the right, this right leg serves as a good brace. Like so.
One of the things that's also induces when Al addresses the ball, as he spoke about this angle of his knees, his hips, and his shoulders, what that basically does is takes his backswing back low in a low arc and lets him work up with his body through the ball. This way he can work on up through the ball, and whereas if you took the club in the opposite position, he's working his body down through the ball. So even though the club is swinging, his body is kind of working up through the ball. And he's setting in that position with his left shoulder high and his right shoulder down in a good strong position where he's up against the shot real good with his left side here. Okay. So there's a very strong position and a good solid setup.
That sounds pretty good. Why don't we go over and work on some alignment now?
Okay, we have some visual aids here over here, and I think they can probably see that alignment pretty good.
Jim, what have you got here?
Well, what we have here, Al, is two stakes here, sticks on the ground. This one representing the target line, and this representing our setup line or our body line. And we're going to try to show here today how important it is to get the body, shoulders, and knees down parallel to our target line. You notice when Al addressed the ball here, the line that the club line that he's addressing his ball on to his target line, he's absolutely parallel to it here with his knees, hips, and shoulders. He's parallel to this line, so that that way he can move his body on this line and swing on this line.
Should we move up a little bit, maybe, as you get...
Yeah, you could show that if we move the ball a little more forward and you address the ball again, that you would still be parallel to your line, to your target, even to the point to where if you moved up farther, it would even be the point where if you moved all the way up to here, Al, you'd actually be addressing this target.
Yeah, I think this is a real common mistake that people make, and is they think, one, they have to aim the club and the ball and everything at their target, but they also think they've got to line up their body and their stance at the target, because they say aim at your target, but that creates a lot of problems from there. Should we go over a couple of problems?
This would induce naturally swinging across the ball, wouldn't it?
Right. If you started...
So you would have to swing this way.
If you started here, one, your stance is aimed at the flag, but the club is aimed at the ball. So really your club head is closed in relation to your body. Then you're going to have to swing on this line because that's the way your body is faced. Now when you're in here, you're going to have to correct and come back to try and swing at that flag, and you're going to end up with that big slice. And that's probably one of the biggest causes of a slice. In fact, when the person starts out golf and they start slicing, a lot of times, don't you think they start aiming right to correct the slice, and all they're doing is making it worse? I think they could almost work, if they're going to do anything, work a little open rather than closed.
Yeah. Of course, the thing would work just the same way, the other way, to the point to where if you aimed too open, then you would, of course, swing across your line.
Yeah, I think it's a little better if you're going to do it, aim a little left. At least it keeps you hitting down and holding your release, where if you aim to the right, you come up here, you early release, you come forward, early release your hands, and you have no power, plus you're coming back across it, where if you're aimed too far left, kind of like Trevino does, really that's what he does. He aims way left, and he holds that release because he has to, and at least he saves his power. That's why he hits it so far.
Well, he at least works on the line he's standing on.
I think if we move up here to really at the flag, this is really, you can show the comparisons. Would that make sense to you?
Oh yeah, you'd still be almost like you're addressing your target.
So it'd be almost like you have two targets, a target there and a target here.
Right, that's right. That's a very key point, and along with the proper ball placement, I think these 2 points, these two fundamentals, are just so important because they, if there's any ability there at all, and you have the proper stance and the proper grip, it's just going to magnify your ability.
Well, in other words, you have to line up properly so that you can make that nice simple turn away, the shoulders turn away and back, where if you're not lined up properly, you've got to keep adjusting all the way through your swing. So now you can see if you had a bad grip, which you don't want to have, and your bad alignment, boy, this game could be awfully tough then.
Why don't you hit that ball? I'll pull this out of there. Set that right there and go ahead and hit it. I'll pull this target line out, get all set up. Right down that target line. Right down that line. That's a great shot. Great shot. Well, these alignment things do help the average player, don't they?
There's no question alignment, you know, it sounds like something you don't need to pay much attention to, but it causes a whole chain reaction of faults, and then what happens is we use other mistakes to cover up those faults. Well, we think, well, we'll change our grip. Well, your alignment's crooked, so you change your grip to correct your alignment, and then you have bad grip. So it can cause a whole chain reaction of faults.
We ought to put these in your bag.
Yeah, that's right. It's too bad you can't carry them with you, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we go on and do some of the other parts of the swing, the movements, the shoulders, the hips, the legs, and things like that.
Okay, fine. You know, the driver is an extremely important club. Usually if we drive well, we play well. It kind of sets our mood for our whole round. And here's where the rewards come in. If you've prepared yourself well in the practice tee with a good sound grip and a good sound alignment, the payoff really comes with good consistent golf and good shots. Here we're aware of a good sound grip.
You're looking at the isolated parts there, now the full swing again. Showing the legs, shoulders.
This is a critical area right in here, Al, isn't it? The speed of that takeaway.
Yeah, should be back slow and 1 unit. That sets the pace for the whole swing.
Yeah, that was a good looking impact area. Very strong, positive position at impact. Very much like you addressed the ball.
From behind you, you can get a good look at the posture, the full turn, the legs moving, all the way to the finish.
Good balance, very good balance.
There's that one-piece unit move away. Set at the top, hold it, the legs move through and pull the club right on through to the top.
Good looking swing there. Now here, be aware of good alignment.
See the right elbow collapse there, or you might say tuck into the side on the way back and then stay there, re-tuck on the way down.
I like the left side work here, Al. Notice your left side, how it turns and keeps winding up through this area. Your left knee releases.
Points sort of at the ball. The whole left side's turning away. The left arm is extended, reaching to the top of the swing. The left side keeps coming around, and the left foot comes off the ground there, letting the
here's
make a full turn.
Very critical area up here. You're set real solid up there. You're quiet. Club is right on parallel to your line of flight. You're all set. Your left side just moves right on down. Your legs work right on down. You're holding your release.
So both legs move through there, coming off onto that left foot. Right foot moving through.
Yeah, that's a good solid
Your stomach
motion.
facing the target.
Yeah, very good. Very good motion. What I like about your swing, Al, is the constant relationship between your feet and your legs, how they all work together. See, now here your club is starting to work back. Your wrists are breaking. Your legs are working inward. Your left leg.
See the left knee come forward there and the left heel come off the ground. That keeps you level. If you leave that foot down, sometimes it'll cause you to dip and then rise up through the ball.
Yeah.
Now we're switching over the downswing. The weight goes to the left foot, and watch the right knee move through there and the left. See, both of them work together there onto that left side. off that right foot, right up onto the toe. You might say that so that right knee is pointing right at your target.
Yeah, with a good balance.
The finish is sort of the result of a good swing. You can tell how good your swing was by the finish.
Right. Here's our shoulder turn.
The left shoulder turns away. Make a nice full turn with the left shoulder. It's almost a horizontal feeling, I think, sometimes, even though it doesn't look like it. It's somewhat like a baseball turn away, horizontal, but we're bent over a little bit, so it
makes it a little more vertical. There's that good solid position at the top. Your left thumb kind of supporting the club.
All right, the hand's set. Now most of the hands stay set all the way down. See, they're still set the same way they were at the top, all the way, just out of the picture there.
Mm-hmm.
But the body turn pulls all that all the way through to the finish. That left hip turned around and brought you all the way around facing the target. And
yeah, great position there.
The finish is almost a copy of the backswing.
Here again, I think we'll find that those original fundamentals of a good grip, good alignment, kind of sets you up to go through all these good moves here, where you're making a good tempo.
You can see the turn from the back here, kind of going along. See the plane, the line from the top of the club down to the ball. That's important.
Yeah, that's a good plane there.
And then you'll see at the top I'm fully set there and the club pointing back down the line. Now you'll see the first move of the downswing. The club is going to come straight back down. There's not a big jerk or a fast move or anything. That's important, is to go back down the way you went up. The legs move through there. Now you can see on to the finish. You can see the other end of the plane. If you could see both the top and the finish, that would almost be the same.
Yeah, you can see how the shoulders work underneath the chin there to give you that freedom through that swing.
It's all in the turning of that body, the whole turn. Now here we have the legs. In fact, in this one you'll see the takeaway, but you'll see the left knee start to come out on the backswing. That's the left hip coming around, and that's the left knee responding to it, and then the left heel will come off the ground. At the top of the swing, the left heel is off the ground. Now, the start of the downswing, that left heel is planted back down, and that starts the left hip turning, and then all that turning brings the club down. Now watch the right knee start to move through there, and then both knees move.
See, that's that whole unit working together. Arms, shoulders, body, legs.
See how close the two legs are together at the finish, too. You could almost put a little band around them.
Here's this good shoulder turn. You really have a very good shoulder turn here, Al, and a good extension of your arms. You let your arms swing upward nice and free and get your shoulders around good, which really gives you the good leverage in your swing.
Well, I think the shoulder turn is really the heart of the swing. Everything sort of responds to the shoulder turn.
Look at that good set position at the top. The club face perfectly square.
It's almost planed with my arm there, the face in the background there. A one piece starting down. It's very critical to start down. You make a lot of mistakes by starting quick. And high finish, and the body's facing the hole. You're up on your right toe. You can't see it in the picture, but you couldn't finish that far around if you weren't up on your right toe.
I think this slow takeaway kind of sets you up to get a slow downswing from the top. Usually if you start a little hurried, it's hard to get a nice smooth swing from the top.
But the takeaway sets the pace. If
Right.
you start fast, everything else goes fast. Start slow, it gives you a chance to collect everything. Start
Here it
away
comes.
slow, start setting the hands about here. So everything's fully coiled and set up there, and then save it. And all automatically releases at the ball, right to the finish. But you got to move all the parts with it. We're going to probably see a lot more of those later on here.
Okay, Al, let's put it all together and just let it happen. Now it's birdie time, Al. I see you have a routine there in your setup.
I put my feet together and then stepped apart. And you go through the same routine every time. And same leg action, hitting the iron shot.
I notice your left heel comes up the same way, kind of releases.
Nice shoulder turn, hitting the iron. Now here's a close-up. You're going to see that left knee come out on the backswing, left foot come off the ground, and the right knee go on through, just like the driver. Nice full shoulder turn. Now the one-piece takeaway, the club, the left hand, the left arm, the left shoulder all go as a unit, and they start setting about hip high, full set at the top, hold the set right on through. Same swing as a driver, you're just using a shorter club, and that governs the length of your swing. From behind, you notice the posture we talked about earlier, the one-piece takeaway, left arm extended to, see the backswing didn't go quite as far, but the same plane, everything. Just like a driver, same swing, but the club is a different length. Here's that one piece takeaway right there, see it? And then the setting. Hold the setting down into there. Let the legs have to move through to let you hold on to that setting.
Again, I can't emphasize enough a good alignment. Right on the plane.
Okay, notice too, the legs have moved all the way to the finish and the shoulders are all the way around facing the target.
I notice you're swinging well within yourself here, Al. You're not forcing it or anything. You're just letting your good wind-up take care of the swing and getting the distance out of it for what you basically set the club up for.
Here's where you start to wind up. There's no speed involved. It's more of just preparing, you might say, setting the power, setting the hands, the hips are turned. Now you're coiled, you're ready. And the left hip starts turning, left foot goes down, the left hip starts turning, holding that setting, and it all gets down into a point there where it just almost explodes onto the ball and carries you right on up to a high finish. Your stomach facing the target, your shoulders, and you're looking right at the target where you've hit a nice shot, and you're up on your right toe and your weight's on your left foot. And you're not falling over, you're balanced. Here's a close-up of the legs. Watch the left, the club goes back, watch the left knee start to come towards the ball. And at this point, the left heel will start to come off the ground. This is what I call a leveler. It'll keep you from dipping down. It lets you bend your legs but remain level. As you start down, the left heel's planted, and then the right knee kicks in there, and both knees. See how both legs work through there?
And it drives you down through the ball, doesn't it?
That's right. It allows you to stay down on the ball and hit down on it, and hit the ball first, and then take your divot. That left shoulder makes a nice turn. Like I say, it almost feels horizontal. That way it naturally turns on your spine. And the left arm is the full extension up to the top. See, you're set at the top, my left hip's turned. Now I hold that set, hold it down there, the left hip is turning out of the way, pulling me through. And the shoulders go right on through to a high finish. Now here they are all put together, the one piece takeaway, the left knee coming out, the left arm is extended, shoulders are turning, they're leading the swing. The shoulders turn the most. The left hip follows, and then the left knee responds to that. And you get up to the top of the swing where you're all set. Now the left foot will start down.
There's that same good position at the top.
Left knee, left hip. Keeps moving, and those shoulders they keep turning all the way to the finish. And of course the legs have to move to allow that to happen. I sometimes feel I take the club back with that left shoulder. See it come around there by my chin? I just feel like that's kind of my lead. And everything responds to that, because that'll pull the left hip and pull the left leg and pull the left foot. But notice how much those shoulders, where they were when they started, now they make a full turn all the way to the top of the swing. And then you'll see them go all the way to the other end of the swing. There's a lot of movement in the shoulders.
Yet the arms are swinging freely throughout that shoulder turn.
That's right, they sort of react to the shoulder turn, I think. If you don't make a good turn, you just can't hit it very far or very straight.
A lot of times by moving your arms freely, it'll help you move your shoulders too.
Because you swing your arms back, the shoulders sometimes will respond to the arms. They all work as a unit. That's where all the parts are put together, from the knees, the hips, shoulders, right on up. See that knee stick out there in the backswing, and then how it moves aggressively through, the right knee following there right with it.
There's the knee again, working inward. There it is again, knee working inward and the left foot releasing.
Right arm is more or less collapsed to the top there with the left arm extended. Then when you're finished, the right arm is straight and the left arm is bent, collapsed.
Good, here it is again, now all put together.
You know, if you have a good grip, good posture, all those, it just sort of all automatically happens. Here's a very important part of the game, the pitching wedge, because you can make up for a lot of missed shots with the pitching wedge, save a lot of strokes.
It's about an 80-yard shot here. Notice your feet are much closer together.
See the same leg movement there? Shoulder turn isn't quite as big, but you're not taking as big a shot, big a swing. Let's go through the same routine, stepping into the shot. Put my feet together, and you see that I step away, the same routine each time. My left foot is pulled back here. I'm open to the shot more because I want to get the ball up in the air. See, my left foot is pulled back.
And of course, being so close to yourself there with your hands, your left leg would kind of be in your way, and you couldn't hold your shot, hold on with your wrist action through the ball if you were standing square to that shot.
Yeah, that's to help that forward movement. So one piece takeaway, the same. There's a slight movement in the left leg here. Not as much because it's not as big a swing, but notice both knees moving through there together. This is very important. Shoulder turn won't be quite as far, but you can see it's a much shorter swing. Still set at the top, hold the set. Everything is just a smaller swing.
What's the firmness still in your hands at the end of your grip there, at the end of your swing?
So you start out firm, see the one piece take away. And you see the legs there, watch both of them move through there. The hands really stay very firm through the shot. If the legs move, the hands will stay firm. It's setting right there. Straight down, hold your set, your legs move through so you can maintain it. Go right on to the top. Put it in there close and make the putt. Left shoulder still steers the swing, takes it away, takes it right on through. Okay, my right knee is tucked in there a little more to start with, and the left knee moves just a little bit and the right doesn't move much, but they both go together. You could almost, like I said earlier, put a little band around them and they almost work as a unit.
Now here, being a little closer to the ball, we can see the plane is a little more, going up a little more. Not quite as flat as the driver was, it's simply because we're standing closer to the ball.
That's right, the swings usually feel about the same. We just keep changing equipment, longer clubs, shorter clubs, and a lot of this would be fairly automatic. Notice how the legs kept me down and I hit down and stayed down through the ball. You hit down on the ball to make it go up. But you have to have a good leg action to do that.
One thing we might mention here, that the body still moves up through the ball, if you'll notice. When we start our downswing, the body is really moving up through the ball. And here's the results of that motion.
Well, it's time for a little bunker lesson here. I think a few fundamentals, if they're carefully followed, will help your bunker play, because actually the bunker shot is an easier shot than the average player thinks. He shudders over the shot of a bunker shot, but the professionals really don't mind it at all because they know how to do it. And a lot of it's just your technique. And I'm going to run through some of the fundamentals here and see if this won't help your bunker play. First of all, let's draw a line between the hole up to the ball and straight back. This is your intended line. Right, straight through there. Now, here's where you make your changes. Most people will stand up there parallel to that, which we've been teaching in most of the other shots. Yeah. But in this one, we do something different. We take the whole body in the stance and we bring it around to here. So we have our stance now aiming left, our knees aiming left, our hips aiming left, and our shoulders aiming left. So in other words, I've taken my whole body and brought it around, and I'm aiming left. Now, the difference is I'm going to aim the club still at the hole, and that'll change the club in my grip too, because it'll have to move over to a different position, but the club is aiming at the hole. So now I'm going to swing though on the pattern that my hips are on and my shoulders are on, which means my swing plane is going to be going to the left, like this.
In other words, parallel to your body.
Parallel to my body, right. But I'll go back. What I've done is I've moved everything around. So I'm going to just take a nice swing to the left, stance this way, swing on this line, but the blade is going to be aimed at the hole, so it's going to give me the feeling of a cut shot, and it's going to make me hold my release longer and work my legs. And then what I won't do then is have an early release, which most people that line up square all the way around, they come in and they early release and they stick the club right into the ground. And that's why they're so afraid of a bunker shot. But if you're aiming left, it forces you to swing all the way through to the finish. Now the next thing on the shot is you want to aim about 2 inches behind the ball, come in just behind it about 2 inches and swing on through. Now by swinging to the left, like I was talking about, it makes you hold your release longer, and that helps you get underneath the ball, and that forces your legs to move. All the professionals have a lot of leg action in their bunker shot. Here, I'll hit one to demonstrate.
Oh, that's a nice looking shot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, very good shot.
What it allows you to do is to make a full swing and hold your release. I'll do it slow here. Hold your release down in here, so your release is the last minute, and your body, it's very important for your leg action in a bunker shot. Here, I'll hit a couple more here. See how I'm aimed left, my shoulders are left, my hips are left. I'm going to aim about 2 inches behind the ball, take it straight back. Really, it feels straight to me, but it's actually looking open only because I'm going aimed to the left. And finish the swing.
I noticed you really didn't change your tempo very much, Al. I see a lot of players that get in there and they just blast. They think, well, I have to blast this out of there. And they take a real hard explosion type of shot through there. And they don't maintain any balance or anything. How important is that?
Well, I think by swinging properly, they don't have to swing as hard. What I mean by that is aiming left and holding that release. They're saving that power and using it at the last moment, where if you line up square to the hole, like we've been telling you the other shots do, you don't do it on this one. What happens is they release their power early and they just stick it right in the ground. So then the next step is to avoid that, and they speed it up real quick to try and get by. But if you hold your release for a long time, which is true in just about any golf shot, you'll save that power to the last moment, and it doesn't really look like you swing very hard. The ball flies out, and it's amazing the backspin they have, because you've held that angle in here like this, and the club comes down at a sharp angle and puts a lot of backspin on it.
Notice when you set up there, Al, that's a fairly flat lie there, that you set up with the your clubs at 90 degrees to your slopes there, which is it's a tiny bit uphill, I think, but you don't put your hands way ahead on this shot, do you?
Right, I think it's important, and something that I even make the mistake of is when you have an uphill or a downhill lie. A flat lie, you probably would naturally do it. Your club will be about 90 degrees to the flat lie, where on the uphill lie, you want to keep the same way so that you swing, you might say, even with the hill rather than going straight into the hill or something like that. And so on a downhill one, picture that you are on a downhill lie, and then picture your club being about 90 degrees.
I see that.
Then you'll keep a consistent circle or a consistent arc coming through the sand. You won't be coming up too fast or down too steep. Then another important thing about bunker play is to practice, because it's a field shot. Actually, there's a lot more room for error in a bunker shot. You can hit an inch behind it, 2 inches, 3 inches. As long as it's a good swing and your legs are working, the ball will come out. It's a pretty good shot.
Here we see a visual aid illustrating a setup 90 degrees to the slope of that bunker. The club is set on that 90 degrees, his body is set on the 90 degrees, and he maintains that through his swing. Here you notice the club is set right parallel to that 90-degree slope.
I notice the hands set a little earlier, a little full set here. Now again, you maintain that set for a long time in the bunker.
The body's set at 90 degrees here also. This allows you to come in from down low, working up through the ball and bringing it out.
And you move the legs. Maybe not quite as much, but those legs have to move.
Now let's talk a little bit about the mechanics of this chip shot. I understand you're using a 7-iron there.
Right, Jim. I'll run through some of the fundamentals of a chip shot because it's very important as a setup in hitting the chip shot. First of all, you have to choke up on the club because you're only hitting a little bitty shot. So you're in closer to the ball. Your left foot is pulled back, like so. Your feet are turned a little bit towards the target, not way around here, but halfway in between. You're choking up on the club, like I said. You play the ball back towards your right toe, and your left hip is turned out of the way, like so. Your shoulders, though, are parallel to your line of flight. Your hip is turned out of the way so that you can pull the club on through, plus your right foot will move in. Now hit it through here and watch how important the leg action is in the chip shot. See how the legs move on through the shot?
Yeah, that's a nice looking shot there. Why do you turn your left foot out? Al? Is there a reason for that, or does it make you get through the ball better, or what?
Well, yes, you turn your both feet. Now, a lot of people have a tendency to have both feet straight, and it blocks their body, and when they do that, they hit it with their hands, and you don't want to hit the shot with your hands. Your hands stay very firm through the shot. You turn your feet somewhat towards the target, like so. Then when you swing your arms, your hands stay very firm through the shot. See when I finish where my hands are?
Yeah, that's
they're not collapsed, they're still firm.
I know.
My legs have done the work.
Yeah, I noticed when you set up, you set your hands a little on the forward of the ball.
All right, you imitate the hitting position of a full shot. As you're coming in the ball, your hands lead the club. So we go to that position on a chip shot to start with the hands ahead, and the hands stay there through the shot. The club never catches up with the hands. See where my hands are when I finish now? And the hands are still ahead of the club. You let the legs do the work.
Yeah, those are good shots.
This is
good.
This is a shot that also takes practice. Once you get the technique, there's nothing like practice because it's a feel shot.
Yeah, those are
and you have to, nobody can tell you how hard to hit the shot, and every shot is a different length. So practicing your different length chip shots is very important, and working those legs underneath. And
getting away from the mechanics a little bit, well, let's look at the mental aspect. Exactly what are you thinking as you're preparing to make this shot? And what are you seeing, actually?
Well, once you've collected all your data of how far along the shot is, the speed of the grass, and everything like that, and sort of put that into your little computer there, then you basically get over the shot and you picture the shot, how it's going to break. You picture the curve of the ball going towards the hole, and you feel how hard to hit it. Now, that's somebody says, how hard do you hit it to go that distance? It's a feel, and it comes from your practice. So picture the break of the ball, like this one is to the left of the pin about a foot. Picture the ball curving, and feel your shot, how hard to hit it. That looks pretty good right there.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Well, we don't have to putt that one.
I could make all those putts, I think.
Thank you, Al. That was excellent. Very good.